There's only 168 hours in a week. "56 hours gone to sleep. Over 40 hours gone to work.
Extremely important that we go through this because then you don't.
Over 30 hours to errands, food, and other responsibilities. What's left? 20-ish hours? Do you really want to spend the rest of that time in the gym?
I used to think the answer was always more. More sets, more exercises, more sessions. This was 11 months ago, so it was a year ago. Back then, I was working out 4 times a week and I did a strength test. Check this out.
Today I'm going to do a strength test. This is my body weights in the bench press. See how many reps I can do.
Nowadays, I'm only lifting twice a week because any more than that, I get bored of the gym. I'd rather spend my time outside, biking, hiking, or running, especially here in Cape Town. It's stunning. Accidentally rhyming, not on purpose. This is the exact same weight though, and this is also the exact same t-shirt. And I'm actually weighing the exact same as I did a year ago. I'm doing the same test as I did a year ago. Surely I can't be stronger when I've half my sessions. Reps. That's about 30% stronger. Not only have I halved my workout, but I also reduced them from 90 minutes to just 60 minutes. I'll gain more muscle, build more strength, while cutting my training with almost 70%. In this video, I'm going to show you a 3-step process of how you can get better results in way less time in the gym. I only train twice a week. I spend only 2.5 hours in the gym now because that's enough for me to make progress, because I'm just chasing minimum effective dose, just enough to force progress, but not so much to the point where I burn out or can't recover from. I'm not chasing maximum gains because that is just something you can keep up doing for 6 months just to actually be burned out for 2 months after. Plus, when I only spend 2.5 hours in the gym every week, it's easier to fit into my schedule and I don't feel guilty about spending that time in the gym. And doing it this way has also had a compounding effect because, like I mentioned, I don't burn out, and also it reduced the risk of injury, and that helped me stay consistent for the whole year. It keeps me in great shape year-round versus going through cycle where I might be in amazing shape, but then I'll go through a period where I'm not in great shape because I'm burned out or I'm tired of lifting weight. And how much time you should spend in the gym, it really depends on your goals. If you just want to focus on health and strength, it's not that much. But if you want to build muscle, it really depends on your genetics and training history. Like if you're a complete beginner, you could literally walk into the gym and stare at the pair of dumbbells and build muscle. But that's just the beginning phase. Also depends on how your muscle responds, because some muscle group responds with minimal effort. For me, that's my shoulders, and other muscle group are more stubborn. For me, that's my chest. So if you want to train efficiently, it'd be smart to spend less time on the muscle that already responds well, and instead allocate that time to the muscle that actually need that extra work. Also, the size of the muscle also matters. You shouldn't be doing as much set on your shoulders as on your legs, because your legs are a much bigger muscle group and requires much more volume to grow versus your shoulders, which are a lot smaller. If you want to know how many sets you should be doing for each muscle group, based on your goals, whether it's health, strength, muscle, and based on your training levels and your genetics, how well your muscle responds to training. Use the free volume calculator in the description because it'll tell you exactly how much volume you need per muscle group. Junk volume refers to any training that takes time and energy but doesn't actually help you build meaningful muscle or strength. And if it doesn't contribute to your goals, it's a complete waste of time because it increases the risk of injury, messes with your recovery, and can lead you to burning out. Junk volume comes in many forms though. It can be in too many sets or too many reps. Junk volume in repetition though is the most common reason to why most people plateau and stop seeing results from their training. So, do you know who Dorian Yates is? If you don't, it's okay. It means that you're not a total meathead, but he's a 6-time Mr. Olympia, and during his reign, he trained just only 4 sets per week. 4 sets! That takes less than 10 minutes. Here's the workout. If you keep increasing the amount of volume but your sets are too easy, it's like a monk buying a penis pump. It's pretty useless. The first step to making your training effective is training with the right intensity. Here's how to make sure that you're actually pushing yourself hard enough. For a set to be effective, you need to push yourself where you're 2 reps shy of failure, because scientists and gym bros have finally agreed that that's the sweet spot. Try to push yourself where the point where it looks like you have fecal impaction. If you don't know what that is, here's an explanation. Here's how you should look. Or to the point where your arms are like shaking by the last reps. That's an effective set. Another way to make sure that you are training with the right intensity is by tracking your lift, making sure that you are progressively overloading. You don't need to max out every session, but if your workouts are effective, you should be doing more over time. If that is not happening, your workout is probably ineffective. Junk volume also comes in doing too many sets, and that's the problem with most gym programs, because everybody's following an old school bodybuilding template when most of us in the gym just want to feel and move better. Even if a set contributes to building muscle, it can also be junk if it's not aligned with your goals. So if 6 sets of arm technically still builds strength for someone like Mildred who's 50, it's still junk to her, because if her goal isn't to have swole ass arms, then it's just a complete waste. So step 2 is set smarter, not harder. You see what I did there? Smooth, right? Anyways, here's how to choose the right amount of volume. Whether your goal is strength, health, or hypertrophy. For strength, a 2017 meta-analysis, which is a study of many studies, looked at 9 different trials, and it concluded that by just doing 1 to 4 sets per week can yield up to 81% of maximum strength gain that you could potentially get. That's not much. Obviously, as you progress, become more advanced, you'll need more volume to improve your strength, but for most of us who aren't looking to become powerlifters or bodybuilders, I think it's safe to say that for majority, by just lifting heavy 4 sets per muscle group per week is enough to get you stronger. For health, it's even less to do. So a 2022 systematic review analyzed 16 studies on all-cause mortalities, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, and type 2 diabetes. And the conclusion, 30 to 60 minutes of training per week is enough to achieve maximum reduction risk for all-cause mortalities. So if your goal is to simply be healthier, the commitment is minimal. There's no excuse why someone can't exercise 30 to 60 minutes per week. But if we're talking about benefits that comes from exercising, these are benefits that come directly from using our body. I think we all know the biggest health benefits don't actually come from the exercise itself, but it comes from losing fat that might be caused by the exercises. But that's next week's topic. Moving on, for hypertrophy, it really depends on your goal. If your goal is to go from looking like this to looking like this, 8 to 12 sets, depending on the muscle group, of course, per week is the sweet spot. But if your goal is to become a bodybuilder, or if you've been lifting 2 to 3 years and plateaued, then yeah, you probably need to push beyond that. You should push upwards 20 sets, not go beyond that though. But for most people, 8 to 12 sets is the sweet spot. But how should you split them? Because according to James Krieger's meta-analysis, hypertrophy tends to peak around 6 sets per muscle group per session. After that, stimulus plateaus or even declines because of recovery issues. If you're doing 12 sets a week, don't do it all in one session. Split them across 2 sessions. Do 6 sets per session instead. It will get you higher quality sets and also help you recover better. Something you should consider though is that optimal amount of sets isn't the same for every muscle group, and it varies from person to person. If you want to find out how many sets you should do for each muscle group based on whether your goal is health, strength, muscle, like I mentioned, and training levels, and how your muscle group responds, use the free volume calculator in the link in the description. It tells you exactly how much volume you need. Step 3 is the 80-20 lift rule, and it's all about choosing the right exercises, because a lot of people are confused on what exercises to focus on, because there's a lot of hype on isolation exercises, about chasing the pump or the burn, building muscle through metabolic stress, as it's called. Even though metabolic stress help, is not the main driver of muscle growth. Main driver for hypertrophy is mechanical tension, aka progressive overload. And yeah, I know some bodybuilders will swear by it, but most of them are on gear. If you're natural like me, it doesn't work the same. There's literally studies showing that people on steroids build more muscle sitting on the couch than us natural training our asses off. If you want to be efficient with your time, you gotta choose the exercises that gives you the highest ROI for your time. 80% of your workout should be on compound exercises. Focus on progressive overload. And compound exercises means exercises that train muscle in that muscle group. It doesn't have to be a barbell exercise. It doesn't even have to be a dumbbell exercise, because machines like the hack squats machine and bench press machines are also compound exercises. No more than 20% of your workout should be on isolation exercises. Honestly, you don't even need to do isolation exercises to look good, but it's always good to finish off with an arm session so you can get the pump and the swole where the veins are sticking out, so you can catch someone's attention across the gym. So 20% is okay. Bonus step. If you really want to maximize your time in the gym and also boost cardio at the same time, the bonus step is that you integrate superset. You can still maximize your gains for each exercise even though you superset, as long as your cardio isn't the limited factor, which it won't be over time because you'll adapt to the intensity. When the muscle becomes the limiting factor and not your cardio, supersetting is as effective as doing single setting for building muscle and building strength. But just make sure that you don't superset exercises in the same muscle group, because supersetting exercises in the same muscle group usually leads to junk volume, those light, easy reps at the end. They don't do much for knee room strength and muscle growth. So choose opposite muscle groups like chest and back, because then each muscle gets a break while the other work, so you can lift heavier, get more quality sets, and just build more muscle in less time. If you want the highest ROI from your workout, meaning the best possible result for your time, check out the link in the description, because we also can handle your program for you and now also do nutrition for you if you want to, and we'll be there every step of the way for you. If you just want to do it yourself, no worries. I hope this was helpful. Check out the volume calculator because it's useful. It tells you exactly how much sets you should be doing based on your goals and circumstances, so it's a good place to start. If you are unsure what your goal should be though, whether it should be building muscle, losing fat, or something in between, check out this video right here. I break down the most common stages that most gym goers are in and exactly what the goals should be. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay healthy, keep thriving, and I hope I see you over there. Peace.